What's going on, boys? How many of us are drifting around on autopilot? That our lives are literally the same day in and day out. You go to work the same way, you come home the same way. What's going on here? And because of that, over time, I've noticed that even me, because I've been working a corporate job, literally the same job for 5.5 years after getting out of college, I've loved my job and it really was one of my dream jobs. And so because of that, I feel like I've reached the top of the hill. And guess what? The wolf at the top of the hill is never as hungry as the one climbing it. And so what does that mean? You chill. It's time to chill. It's time to cruise, right? That was an airplane noise, by the way. But I'm just telling you, it's time to just get on autopilot and just monitor all instruments. And you made it. It's cool. The problem is if you're not pushing relentlessly and intentionally on your next goals, guess what ends up happening? You end up drifting away. If I didn't check in with air traffic control, they'll say, hey, I'm over here. Do you want me to go this way? Because if I keep going this way, I'm going to be off course. And you don't have those check-ins, then obviously you're going to be off course. And the check-ins in this case is going to be you talking to yourself, writing goals down. I always write everything down. I tell people that all the time. They never want to do it. And to be fair, I never wanted to do it either. Growing up, I have it all in my head. The problem, not only am I getting older, I don't have extra time to be storing up storage that I don't need and don't have and honestly don't care about because I can just have it right here. But speak to the Lord as well. I need you guys doing that. Understand why you're doing what you're doing, the vision behind it, but also the motive. I talked to a guy once that started this business and it was going to be dog grooming, and then he also wanted to do this RV business. Problem with that is I said, are you really passionate about RVs? No. He said, I'm passionate about money. So that was his motive behind the business. Literally the Bible says not to do that, and there's good reasons for that. Probably going to fail. It's going to lead you down a path of evil, right? And so one of the biggest things is I started multiple businesses. We did Amazon FBA. I still have the products to prove it. I was laughed at. Dead serious, I was laughed at for doing that. It failed. I spent over $3,000 of hard-earned money. I'm talking about hard-earned. Outside in the Texas heat, moving furniture to different locations with $14 an hour. That was it. Having to drive there, clock out, all this stuff wasn't fun, right? Having to deal with, literally take trash out like a trash man. I've done all kinds of stuff. So there's that. Then we did Amazon and / eBay retail arbitrage, right? So you're a middleman and you can also buy things at thrift stores and resell those. It sounds cool in the moment. Oh, I can make $10 here and there. Low pricing items. You're going to need a ton of items in order to make that any sort of full-time income. And so I was like, nope, that one failed. Then we did reselling and buying phones. That one was kind of fun. You'd call people up, you'd throw an ad up, and you meet them up, you buy the phone, and then you'd resell it. And then we also did car business, right? So I had an automotive business where we would do all kinds of, from oil changes to massive repair work. I never really did engine teardowns, but suspension or lower control arms, rims, brakes, all those kinds of things, basic stuff we were able to do using DAs, which is like a sander, and we would paint some cars, and basically we would buy things in Copart and resell them and all this stuff. I've done a lot of different things because I've always had a mind of curiosity and wanting to do more. Because if you want to be an average man, that's cool. But I think everybody here wants to be more than average. And since when did somebody tell you it's cool to be lower than average and that don't strive for your goals or your dreams? It's not okay, because you are going to be the one that has that regret forever. You're going to have that regret forever, and you're going to be wondering, why didn't I do it? We're only here for a short amount of time, guys. You are not even guaranteed to be here in the next 10 minutes if you're watching this. And that's super sad and super scary and everything else. I use those kind of terms because I think it's true. Super scary, because it is scary, right? We just need to understand what our purpose is. And yes, sometimes when we drift, we have to course correct, and we should, because a lot of times I find that I'm always on autopilot, and I have to be like, you know what, how am I going to wake myself up about this? One of the best ways I like to do it is go home a different way. Don't just go home the same way. And I like to get at work at the exact same time every time either. Change things up. Maybe stay a little bit later so that you can work less on another day. Like today I worked 11 and a half hours so that I could leave Thursday a little bit earlier. So I could set myself up correctly this week, because today's Monday. So in order to have the rest of the week fall into place, you really want to have the front end set up right, so you're not like running the treadmill, burning out, having to go lower, and then speed up at the end, when you can just kind of, how I like to do it. You guys want to know how I run 5.5 minute miles? I'll start at like the treadmill setting, and I'll just sprint it out for the first quarter mile, and then I'll start like bringing the level pretty significantly, like pretty much all the way down to like 9. We'll just hold there, and then at the very end we can peak up a little bit. But it's the same similar concept to the fact that you start the week off real strong, and then you can afford to kind of pull a bit when you start to get tired. It's a lot harder to start powering up to 15 miles an hour at the end when you're tired versus if you had just done it at the beginning when you had all this energy. And so that's just a little bit of what I do, but that's kind of how I break out of autopilot. You know what I mean? But I want to come out here and a little bit, don't want to have this too long about you guys' time, but each and every one of you, in a world full of fakeness and deception, keep dominating your reality, becoming the best version of yourself, pulling for each and every one of you. Leave a comment down below. I can help you guys out. Whatever you need. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.